Watch this video to gain a deeper understanding of the Israel-Palestine conflict and how we can contribute to the quest for peace. What are the root causes and the main issues of the dispute? How can we listen to and learn from different perspectives and voices? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Amir, and I am narrating for Gino DiCaprio. Did you know the Israel-Palestine conflict dates back to the late 19th century, when the Zionist movement emerged to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine, then under Ottoman rule? It intensified after World War I, when Britain took control of the region and promised both Jews and Arabs a state of their own. It escalated after World War II, when the United Nations proposed a partition plan that was accepted by the Jews but rejected by the Arabs. It exploded in 1948, when Israel declared its independence and was attacked by its Arab neighbors. It continued with several wars, uprisings, and peace efforts, leading to the current situation of occupation, violence, and mistrust. Unravel the timeline as we trace the history of the conflict. Ever wondered why the Israel-Palestine conflict is so difficult to resolve? Let's break it down into four main issues: borders, security, refugees, and Jerusalem. How should the land be divided between Israel and a future Palestinian state? How can both sides ensure their safety and security from attacks and threats? What should be the fate of the around 700,000 Palestinian refugees who fled, or the approximately another 200,000 who were expelled from their homes? Who should have sovereignty over Jerusalem, a city sacred to Jews, Muslims, and Christians? Let's examine the challenges and the proposals for each issue. Now, let's hear from the people who are directly affected by the conflict. How do they cope with the daily realities of living under occupation, facing violence, and suffering from injustice? How do they express their hopes and fears, their dreams and frustrations, their anger and sorrow? How do they resist, protest, or negotiate for their rights and dignity? How do they seek to bridge the gap between themselves and the other side through dialogue, cooperation, or reconciliation? Let's listen to their stories and their voices. But here's the catch. When we hear from the people involved in the conflict, we may encounter views and opinions that challenge our own beliefs and assumptions. How do we react when we hear something that contradicts or offends us? Do we dismiss it as propaganda, or do we try to understand it? Do we judge it as right or wrong, or do we acknowledge it as valid and legitimate? Do we respond with hostility or curiosity, with defensiveness or openness, with aggression or compassion? Let's reflect on our own biases and perspectives. Can we empathize with the people on both sides of the conflict and recognize their common humanity and their shared aspirations? Can we appreciate the complexity and the diversity of the situation and avoid oversimplifying or generalizing it? Can we envision a peaceful and just solution that respects the rights and the needs of both Israelis and Palestinians? Can we contribute to the quest for peace by raising awareness, promoting dialogue, and supporting initiatives that foster coexistence and cooperation? Let's act on our responsibility and our potential. In a world where conflicts often divide and polarize us, can we cultivate a culture of peace and dialogue that transcends differences and embraces diversity? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going.